Just take it!
No!
Well, I don't want it! You will take it!
The billionaire's laugh was loud enough to turn heads across the restaurant. $10, he scoffed, shaking his head like the very idea offended him. Imagine stealing something so small. How desperate can someone be? The waitress stood frozen beside the table, her hands trembling slightly as every pair of eyes in the room seemed to burn into her skin. She wanted to speak, wanted to defend herself, but the words wouldn't come. Because she knew something no one else did. And in just a few minutes, the screen would light up. And the laughter would die. She was only trying to survive. The dinner crowd was heavy that evening, the kind that made the air warm with voices and clinking glasses. The restaurant was one of those elegant places where the chandeliers glittered above rich conversations, and the scent of expensive perfume floated through the room like a silent reminder of who belonged there. And who didn't. Lena moved quickly between tables, balancing plates with practiced care. Her shoes were worn, her uniform slightly faded, but her smile was always polite. Not because life was kind, but because she had learned that kindness was sometimes the only thing you could control. She wasn't supposed to be here, not really. Not among people who spent more on wine than she earned in a week. But she needed the job. Her mother's hospital bills didn't wait. Neither did hunger. Neither did rent. So she worked double shifts. She swallowed insults. She ignored the way some customers snapped their fingers at her like she was invisible. And tonight, she was serving the most powerful man in the city. Damien Crowe. Billionaire. Investor. Media darling. A man whose name was whispered with admiration and fear. He sat in the center of the room like he owned the air itself, dressed in a suit that probably cost more than Lena's entire life. His friends laughed loudly, their voices sharp with privilege. Lena approached with a tray of drinks. "Your order, sir." Damien barely glanced at her as he took his glass. Then suddenly, his expression changed. His hand went to his pocket. He paused. Then his eyes narrowed. "Wait." The table went quiet. Damien stood slowly, pulling his wallet out. He opened it. His jaw tightened. $10 is missing. A few people chuckled like it was a joke. But Damien didn't laugh. His gaze lifted, straight to Lena. The room seemed to shrink. "What did you do?" he asked. Lena blinked. "Sir. I'm sorry. My wallet was full before you came near this table." Her heart slammed in her chest. "I didn't touch your wallet." Damien's lips curled. "Oh, of course you didn't. People like you never do, right? It just disappears." The word struck harder than a slap. People around them murmured. Some looked uncomfortable. Others looked entertained. Lena felt heat rise behind her eyes, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Sir, I would never steal from you." Damien leaned closer, voice low but sharp. $10 isn't much to me. But to you? That could be dinner. Rent. A reason to risk it. Her hands shook. "I swear I didn't." Damien laughed suddenly, loud and cruel. "This is priceless. A waitress stealing $10 from a billionaire. How pathetic." His friends joined in, amused. Lena's throat tightened. She could feel humiliation crawling up her skin like fire. She glanced around, hoping someone would speak up. No one did. Because people rarely defend the powerless. Damien raised his voice. "Manager." The manager hurried over, pale and nervous. "Yes, Mr. Crowe?" Damien pointed at Lena like she was an object. "She stole from me." Lena gasped. "No. Please." The manager hesitated. "Sir, are you certain?" Damien's eyes were cold. "Do you doubt me?" The manager swallowed hard. I'm sorry, Lena. We'll have to check. Lena's cheeks burned as the manager asked her to empty her apron pockets. She did. Nothing. Not a single bill. Damien's smile didn't fade. Then she must have hidden it. Lena's voice cracked. Why are you doing this? Damien tilted his head. Because someone needs to learn consequences. Tears welled in her eyes. Consequences. Like she hadn't been living them her entire life. The manager whispered, "We may have to call security." Lena felt like she was drowning. Then suddenly. A sound. A sharp buzz. Damien's phone lit up on the table. He glanced down, annoyed. Then froze. The color drained from his face. His laughter stopped mid-breath. Because on the screen was a notification that would change everything. A bank alert. Transfer complete, $10 million deposited. Damien stared, blinking as if his eyes were lying. His friends leaned in. What is it? Damien's fingers trembled as he opened the message. Another notification appeared beneath it. From Lena Hart Foundation. And then a final line, simple and devastating. Consider this repayment, for what you stole from her years ago. Damien's mouth went dry. Lena's breath caught. The room fell silent. Damien looked up slowly. His eyes met Lena's. But now. There was no arrogance. Only shock. And something else. Fear. Lena wiped her tears with the back of her hand, her voice quiet but steady. You really don't remember me, do you? Damien swallowed. Who are you? Lena stepped closer, her heart pounding, not with humiliation now, but with something heavier. I was 8 years old when my father worked for your company. Damien's brow furrowed. Lena's voice trembled, but she continued. He was injured on the job. Crushed under faulty equipment. The restaurant was so silent you could hear breathing. You refused compensation, Lena whispered. You said it would cost too much. You said. It's just one worker. Damien's face tightened. Lena's eyes filled again, but her voice grew stronger. My father died. My mother begged. We lost everything. Damien's lips parted, but no words came. Lena took a shaky breath. I've been surviving ever since. Working. Struggling. Hoping someday, life would stop punishing us for being poor. Damien's voice was hoarse. That was years ago. Lena nodded. Yes. She glanced at his phone. And tonight, someone decided it was time you felt what it's like, to be accused, humiliated, powerless. Damien's hands gripped the table. But the money, 10 million. Lena's expression softened, though pain still lived there. I didn't take your $10, Mr. Crow. Damien's eyes darted around. Then who? Lena's lips curved faintly. The same people you once ignored. The workers. The families. The lives destroyed. Damien's voice cracked. This is blackmail. Lena shook her head. No. She leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. It's accountability. Damien looked like the ground had disappeared beneath him. His friend sat frozen, no longer laughing. The manager stood speechless. Lena straightened, wiping her face. For years, $10 would have meant everything to me. She looked at him with quiet power. But tonight, it wasn't about money. Damien's voice was small. Why are you still a waitress then? Lena smiled sadly. Because I didn't want revenge. She pointed gently at his phone. I wanted change. Damien stared at her. What do you mean? Lena's voice became calm, almost warm. The deposit wasn't a gift. It was the beginning of a foundation. For injured workers. For families abandoned by corporations. For children who grow up hungry because billionaires think people are disposable. Damien's eyes glistened. And you? Lena nodded. I run it. Damien's shoulders sagged. He looked around the restaurant, as if seeing the world differently for the first time. He whispered, I accused you, over $10. Lena's gaze didn't waver. And you laughed. Damien's voice broke. I'm sorry. The words hung in the air. For a moment, Lena didn't respond. Then she said softly. Sorry doesn't bring back my father. Damien's eyes filled with shame. Lena continued. But maybe, it can bring someone else justice. She took a deep breath. You have more money than you could spend in 10 lifetimes. She leaned closer. So ask yourself. Her voice was steady, powerful. What will you do now, that your screen has lit up? Damien stared at her like a man waking from a long dream. Then slowly, painfully. He stood. In front of everyone. And for the first time in his life. He bowed his head. I will fix what I broke, he said. Not as a billionaire. Not as a king. But as a human being finally confronted by the cost of his cruelty. Lena watched him, heart aching, but lighter. Because sometimes. The greatest theft isn't $10. It's dignity. It's compassion. It's the lives we destroy when we forget that every person standing in front of us is worth more than what they wear. And that night, as Lena walked back into the kitchen, she realized something. The world may not always be fair. But truth has a way of lighting up. Right when arrogance laughs the loudest. And the strongest message of all remained. Never underestimate someone just because they serve you. Because the hands carrying your plate today may be the hands that change your life tomorrow.